force me, slow down. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I
Okay.
have 41,000 views on TikTok.
Wow.
Me and a
On,
man
on,
standing on a
on
corner.
one video.
Video. One
Good.
video. So Darth Fiddler,
Mm-hmm.
a man in a Darth Vader costume, fiddling. Like do 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 do.
Oh, yes, you sent me that. It's cool.
It's so cool. And you know what? He was just there, you know, right in front of a green garbage can, with, for extra visibility, all that fun stuff.
It's very cool. I'm up to almost 5,000 followers. And I think overall, because I try to go every day.
Yep.
And so that's one reason I want to talk about luck. Yesterday was the luckiest day of the year.
I saw that Jeanette had a really great video.
Oh, and it was, and so I really started to look at what is luck.
Yep.
And the definition because I looked at, I loved was divine alignment, karma, or the universe reflecting your inner energy.
Wow.
And so luck is about the journey as much as, and because we as human beings have a need to label stuff, we label good luck or bad luck, but luck itself is about alignment. And so it's a harmony with universal laws like the law of grace, the law of attraction, the 7 biggest laws that are out there, and what gravitates towards us. Now, I know myself, and I know you do this too, when something happens, we have learned in this spiritual awareness to pause, step back, kind of, we obviously have emotions, so you need to feel them, but you only need to feel them for 90 seconds.
Right.
And that's chemical, guys. I'm not pulling a number out of an orifice. If you look at Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's work about if you can just feel it,
just feel it, let it come.
Let it come, not even try to name it sometimes, like, what is that? Just feel it. It allows the energy to go kind of where it needs to go without necessarily adding it to a pattern. And what we don't realize is we are so bombarded with sensory input that one of the reasons we get into things is we need patterns to process the amazing amount of energy that comes. That's why meditation, things that you quietly withdraw, become so important, because then there's an alignment and there's things that you can let go of. And so lucky is about being able to maintain that vibrational energy as you uncover. And you and I both will do a pause, feel the feeling, and then say, look at what the feeling told me. Is that feeling correct?
Yep.
Not in a judgment kind of way. Am I reacting, or this must be playing out for another reason?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, I had a black cat named Lucky got hit by a car, right?
Yeah. And it's like, it has to do with how we stop and our vibrational energy. And hopefully we pay enough attention that we align with what we're looking for. And Spirit showed me something really interesting last week. It was in a conversation with a friend and I who have done some things and have worked together. And she was talking about 2020. And she was talking about this, all of a sudden, this great divide that happened. And, I've heard all kinds of things about, the divide happened, because it's a thing about suppression, all of these things. But what Spirit showed me is mitosis, which is the actual DNA
Yep.
nucleotic, yeah. And it was in black and white because that's usually how you see it because they don't usually have video of that level of minuscule. And I realized this is a big paradigm shift for me, was it became really important that the cells did divide to make a separation, not always necessarily pull us apart, but so we could see the things we don't want to evolve in human beings.
Yes. Yes.
Very different than I've kind of looked at it as their push and pull and a lot of how could you be, because we needed to kind of pull that away to go. And for me, it has allowed me to go, that's just not the evolutionary track I want to align myself with. It's not about judgment. It's about, and as things pull away through the center, new things appear. Trees don't grow, they grow out, but they grow up. And so allowing that mitosis, that things of humanity that have been about slavery, suppression, to really take a look at it, allows us to go, no, not putting any energy over here anymore.
You know what is so true? And the older that I get, the more I wonder if luck is something entirely different than we've been taught to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's an alignment. And sometimes things are brought to us at the time, we don't understand them, but later on, they definitely align us. You know?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Man, when I was in Mexico in January and I called you up because of the change in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like, you can't know, right? Like now I'm in Mexico. I don't have time for dead people, right? Or people dying.
You know, this alignment, you know, we look at luck sometimes as completely karmic cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a karmic piece to it, but do we quite understand what it is? What we think has appeared suddenly is really about somewhat of our alignment. So when they showed me this mitosis, I think that's what it's called, but that actual, it makes sense that we're pulling away and kind of tying up together these things that we need to evolve from, and they have to be in our face so we can align.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's about assessment, not judgment.
This is a huge time for identifying. I like that word. Identifying. So when you look back, what so often, oh, you're so lucky, Nance, you wrote a book. You're so lucky, Nance, you got a podcast. You're so lucky, Nance. And that's always been something that's always made me go, What they don't see are the years that came before. And I can. Right? They don't, the grief, the recovery, the healing, you know, like the mistakes, man, the tears, the fear,
Your work on aligning.
the moments I wanted to quiet, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's it. Working on aligning. And I love how you were talking about the plants, because once we align it, we're like, okay, this is the seed I want to plant, right?
Yep.
I want to plant, oh my God, I had this amazing photo opportunity for a magazine here in Canada, Southwest, I'm not sure. And I went to this lady's home and she has planted sunflower seeds. Now, I do not know what they're going to look like, but they're going to be colorful, even pink. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, there's a pink sunflower. Where I grow sunflowers, I don't have enough hydroponics to get it to the stage. Sunflowers are very interesting. They don't grow over. They align at night. It's 75 days usually till germination. That's it's a long time.
It's a long time. And big dreams take a long time to align, to nurture, right? And I think that's when people say, oh, aren't you so lucky? I think they're seeing the harvest. They're seeing the flower blooming. They're seeing the results. And what they don't always see is the planting, the nurture.
And so your planting has been the alignment. I mean, you can almost answer, yes, I am very lucky that I figured out how to align my life differently than it was going.
Yes. Well, and from astrology perspective, timing matters.
Timing matters. It does. There are, it doesn't mean you can't do things, but it means there are times that there's energy, because it's all vibrational energy, right? That's what alignment is.
It's so important because as Kitty and I are evolving and growing this into that, I sound like a Dr. Seuss. I love that. The first step is the natal chart. Cool beans. Everyone's got one. Do you know your natal chart? Have you had one from Kitty yet? I always say Kitty because you're my gal. Every year we do my solar return. Near my birthday, you know, what's going to happen.
System upgrade.
And I mean, I remember when you gave me mine last year, I was rocked. I was crying. I was a total mess. I'm calling all my girlfriends. Someone's going to die in December, January. It's going to affect my mom. Fuck, I didn't even think. Neither one of us thought that was going to be, it was going to affect my fucking mother-in-law because it was going to be my ex-husband.
Right. There was some loss. Just so people know, I didn't say somebody's going to die. She interpreted, I said, there's a loss around here. Just so you know, I don't.
I tend to do that. I tend to interpret.
Matter of fact, I am one of those people that staunchly who will not tell you what it means because I don't know.
I put enough meaning into everything all by myself, right? So then there's the other one.
But you knew that alignment made something was coming.
It made sense. And then looking at the business opportunities that I have coming my way, when I join into a business agreement, one that requires a contract, I always have the other two done on the other person. Please remind me what that's called.
Well, it depends. Combination or synastry. If you've made the decision, synastry is kind of what your bargains are. You and I have done that. What are your bargains together? How do the alignment of my energy work in what areas with the alignment of your energy? Combination is where's our meeting point.
That's the one that you do with children when they go from 7, 14.
I can do both. I can do both. You know,
blows my mind. Like, more people need to do this. And that's the thing.
I think a synastry chart with your child is a place to start because it talks about what bargains you had. Then a combination chart helps you look at where the midpoint is in dealing with those bargains.
Well, especially when you're an adult parent and you've got adult children and they keep on intersecting in your life in the same way. You're like, what the fuck? Why isn't Johnny growing up?
Right. And it has to do, you know, that's the interesting thing about synastry is it's your bargain with your child, but that evolves.
Yeah.
And with luck, it evolves, you know, with alignment, it evolves into something you want, because as you age, when you're younger and you're raising, it's about your areas, your house, because that's where you're coming from. But as they age, there's a change where it becomes about their area in life. And eventually it's completely their area in life.
Oh my God. It's that moment where as a parent, you need to go goose fa bra when shit goes sideways in your kid's life. You know, my son Chance, he has a roofing company, and there were some changes in the structure between the cell that he was working with and the future he wants to create. And now standing back as an adult parent, allowing him to make his own decisions without calling up this guy and being like, hey.
Well, and because it's about their learning.
Yeah.
It isn't that you aren't learning. You've done your job of this. And, you know, sometimes we have to remember they signed up for their lessons too. They have their own alignment. And it is, you know, I read a really interesting article yesterday about, do you know the movie Dead? You love to talk about movies, so I never talk about them, right? Because I'm not as much of a movie person, but the movie Dead Poet Society.
Oh my God, Captain, my Captain.
Captain, my Captain. All right. So what's really interesting is I'll send you this article. This is written by a Gen Xer, which you're in. Okay. Gen X, you know, you're a little closer to the millennial. I'm a Generation Jones. I don't quite boomer and I don't quite, but I more look at Gen X. Plus, most of my brothers and sisters were Gen X, so that kind of thing.
Right around the 50 age.
Yeah. Well, I'm 65, so Gen X starts 1964, 65, and for 15 years. All right. So this is a later Gen Xer who has Gen Z children because had them later in life, and played for his daughters and his son, Dead Poet Society. And here were the three biggest differences. Ready? And it has to do with our perspective. And this is about what we're talking about, how we have to let go. So as a Gen Xer, the scene where they all stand on Captain, my Captain, when he's being fired.
That's the one, right? I love it.
We look at that as very triumphant, very much about the ability to make changes and turns. Very Gen X, where we are feral.
Well, it's like Twisted Sister. We're not gonna take it.
I mean, we played with lawn jarts where we could have put a hole in our head. I mean, metal slides that you waxed and burned the hell out of your leg, all that stuff. We were experiment, push against. The Gen Zers look at that level as, yeah, it's great and empowered them, but the system didn't change, and he still had to be fired because they are of this group watching this, wanting to change the systems. We understand that it took the shift in our hearts to start to influence that. They're carrying that forward. We have to change the system. We can't just accept this. So there's a big difference. The triumphant feeling is more about, yeah, but the system, we got to go back after the system. So you can see why that's a big difference.
Cool.
Second one, the gentleman who kept going after the popular girl.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, because that was such a constraint that we grew up with. And, the guy who holds the, I don't know what movie that's from, the radio to talk to the popular girl, all that stuff. Okay. Yes. We're like pushing again. Here's his two daughters going, oh, he's creepy. That's like an obsession. Doesn't matter about who the other guy was. Ooh, that's women evolving because we didn't, it is. Truthfully now, if you had somebody doing all that, you should be, there's a control issue. So they already see that. But that's the work of this generation pushing against. Not only are there we know we're reacting to what it was like when we were younger. They don't have that anymore. They start in groups. They don't really date like we used to date.
Yeah, there was no hitchhiking. There was it's very different.
Sexuality is much more fluid. So they don't have that regaling against that. They're just saying that's kind of creepy. And it is really, when you think about it, how he got so obsessed to get him in front of her. It's like, ew, yes. Big difference because they
Stalker alert. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They did not come from, where we had all of our whatever in schools, and the third one, which is incredibly interesting to me, is just, and they really liked the movie, by the way. All the kids really liked the movie.
Okay.
Was there looking at the evolutionary component of schools, boys and girls, and the whole mask of what that was. And, again, not that triumph, but we really have to change our system. And they turned to their parents and said, the kids, why didn't you warn us about that this was going to have this dramatic piece to it?
We fucking did.
No, we don't. But what they have evolved with was trigger warnings everywhere, activation warnings. By the way, you might have to think about that. We're the generation that watched the teacher get blown up in real time and the Challenger, and they shut the TVs down because they didn't really know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't really process it. These are kids who get a heads up of things that have to be.
There's a softness to the world now.
Right.
There's a very softness.
There's
On
a
on TikTok,
compatibility piece. Yeah.
I've been shut down on TikTok a few times for things, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "What do you mean?" I was driving once, and they shut me down because it wasn't safe to drive and talk.
Right. And trigger warnings, I don't think they're bad things.
No.
It's kind of our generation that put helmets on because we played with lawn charts, okay? We
Yes,
burned the hell, I mean,
we did.
um,
We
uh,
did.
so
And
eh,
in the winter time, we rode behind cars with skis.
yeah,
Yeah.
or hitch the bumper.
Yep.
Not the brightest thing. It really was kind of some survival things there that happened.
A little bit. A little bit.
Um, and they're very used to being warned. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to know what's going to happen. We may have taken the ability to react, you
Mhm.
know. Um, there's a different capacity that they build because they were like, why didn't you tell us there was going to be a sad part? And he's looking at him like, it's a movie. That's part of what a movie is, but not necessarily to them.
Well, and it's so interesting too now because kids, they like what you actually want, not what your parents wanted. Like my age, the only way you could do something against your parents was in utter defiance. You didn't dare ask.
Yeah.
Like you didn't dare. I had an aunt that would smack you upside the head and knock you into Tuesday.
Mhm.
That wasn't abuse, that was setting it straight. It was very different,
New understanding of see you next Tuesday.
right?
Yeah. Um,
Absolutely. My
and
God.
you know, there's a loss and a gain. So, some people will say, "Oh, this generation Z," and by the way, we're in alpha now, getting ready to go to beta. Actually, it's technically 2026 by the 15-year cycles is called generation beta. Um, and is what we may have lost a little of the ability to react. And part of that is that they have much more stimulus than we ever did from,
Oh
from
gosh.
this medium.
And
Um,
that's a big part of what's going on right now is the need to dial down, like to take a break,
right, from being bombarded, right.
scroll off, like turn off your electronics for at least 8 hours a day.
Well, what's really interesting is I remember seeing this little boy who's, and it is true, they might not have as much grit to go through stuff,
Yeah.
um, you know, and they're softer with each other. There's a different expectation of being together, which is why, as that go back to that cells, we see that people aren't willing to do that. You're not part of this evolution, so let me look at what you're doing. It's kind of making it. But there was this little boy. It was one of my favorite things. His hair's all over, and he's kind of leaning over his iPad, making this. He said, I keep hearing about the fact that my generation can't go through things, and my generation is soft. And he goes, this from the people who cried because Black people drank out of their fountains.
Oh my God. Accurate.
And I'm like, ding, 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 ding.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yesterday I went and saw my mom, and her TV is not the same as it used to be. So we need to get a new one. This one's fallen and everything's kind of purple and blue. And I've got a new one with a mount. It's all funky. And so changing television channels is no longer an option. Mom can't choose. She doesn't know how that remote works anymore. So movies have become more important. So Erin Brockovich, I guess, has been in since I've been there. 1 week of Erin Brockovich. Like, fuck, no wonder she said, I'm done with that one. So she says, I want to watch the other one. And I don't prompt my mom. I allow her to bring the words in. And she said, and I thought she might want to watch The Help. And she said, the Negro one. Because I offered the Shack first.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, the Negro one. And I love that that's the word that she uses. So I started watching it, and after about 30 minutes, I needed to leave. Right? I was so fired up, like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And before I left, mom says, she looks at me, she goes, you're like that girl. And I said, which one? She's like, the writer. That's what you do. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom remembers I write. Like, that was such a beautiful moment. Like, it was
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. And I says, "Yeah, she causes a little bit of shit too, right?" And she's like, "Oh, yes, you do that too."
It's so lovely to be remembered from the heart. My memory might know, but my heart remembers this connection, this emotional
Mhm.
connection. So, oh, that's a lovely story.
Well,
I
and I
will
think
cherish that today. I
right?
really
It
will.
really is. As we work through grief, we had a loss in our familia. It hasn't even been formally spoken of, so I can't tell any details. And it means that my daughter-in-law is going to come, and we're going to be in the same place. Um, and it's awful. Like I can't speak to it. I just want to bawl. So heartbreaking. And that's where grief isn't linear, and we forget about that. When people say things like, "Aren't you lucky?" And I just want to blow a gasket. Like, fuck off. My daughter died. So yeah, I'm really lucky. And they're like, whoa, 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 again, trigger activation, trigger activation. Where can I go with that? How can I bring that into this healing moment to help a friend who's lost a friend who's lost a friend? Like the ripple effect when someone dies before their time.
Mhm.
That's
And
all.
it takes time.
Hmm.
It takes to say, well, that's not how I really wanted to learn my lessons. And not a
Yes.
but, and it did send me on a different alignment. So
Yes.
it's not in vain. It doesn't seem so,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then I explained the situation to a dear friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for telling me about that because I'm having the same symptoms." And as a woman, heart attack symptoms, the numbness on the left side, the heartburn. This is
um,
not
and
normal.
and women have another one that is a big indicator is a pain mid back that's
Yeah.
seemingly unrelated.
Well, and I
Um,
mean, I've been going through GERD for how many months? Like, I'm going back to my doctor and having a serious discussion, like, this is bullshit, buddy, right? Like, it's more than fucking burping and farting.
um, I'll tell you what has helped me, everybody else's view, is there's a naturalist here, and she gave me these herb drops,
Mhm.
and I put them in aloe vera juice.
Yeah, you told me about that. What are the herb drops, though? We don't know?
I can there. I'll send you what they are. They're just drops to help with digestion. My issue is I'm a very slow. You need to find out what the issue is. Is
I
it
know.
fat?
That's just
Is it too much acid? Is it
not enough
mine is
fat.
um not enough. I don't have enough acid. I'm a slow digester.
Okay, same with me. And that's what my Chinese medicine specialist said to me. I have a sluggish spleen, I think she said.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so um, the aloe vera juice, even without the bitters, it's a shot, different shot, honey, but a shot um, in the morning and in the evening heals the system and gets it out of being completely. And so when I have it, I can look at what was the precursor. Before, almost everything would set it off. And so doing it, I've done it about a little over a month now, and it actually feels different when I'm feeling that my system is being sluggish. Um,
Oh.
used to be I would end up feeling sick but I can feel it in my, here's the interesting piece. I can feel it in my stomach now, not in the track.
Oh, so good because when it's in the track, it was flashing at times, it was flashing back to pregnancy. I'm like, I can't be pregnant. I've had my tubes tied. Ralph's like, are you sure about that? I'm like, yours are tied too. Like, this isn't happening. I said I wanted a puppy, not a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
and so the aloe vera juice is really, really helpful, a shot of it. And it's only 4 or 5 drops of the bitters um,
cool.
into that. And that's to help with the digestion, period. And I'm really very aware of the activating foods, a lot of sugar, which
Mhm.
recently I just read, by the way, a big craving for sugar is also about not eating enough through the day. I cannot eat big meals anymore. I don't know about you, but
Is
I
honey the same as sugar?
pardon?
Honey? Same? I
Honey,
need my coffee every morning.
it's a natural one. Um, but the craving for sugar
Oh,
has to do a lot with not eating enough food.
oh yes, my son Jarrett. I hope he's watching this end part. I'll make note of that.
Um,
I did the
and
same thing. I did the same.
and because of my slow digestion, I don't eat a lot in any one sitting.
Same.
I feel very full.
Oh,
Um,
huge.
so what I need to do is increase, and it's just like remember to eat some carrots, remember to eat some, to
Grazing. Grazing.
um, but it's been very interesting to have. Now, I started in my 20s, and in this last month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks now, to realize that when I'm starting to have an issue with a food, tomato sauce, I have to have that really early in the day, because if I have anything later at night when I'm laying down, it's slow digesting but I feel it in my, pardon?
Isn't it incredible the things that we learn? The last thing that I want to share is from the help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you do when you're peeling onions to stop your eyes from watering, according to the Negro housekeeper that she interviewed first? Stick a match between
Oh,
your teeth.
simulate. Yeah, that would make sense.
I don't know why, but it was a match. Don't light it. Unlit match. Maybe it's the sulfur.
I don't know if it's the sulfur or I wonder if you could do it with a stick or something.
No, I don't know. I've got onion peeling goggles. They they're goggles with the foam on the inside so the smell doesn't get through. They're
Well,
hilarious.
I from a chef, I learned a different way to dice an onion, which is very helpful.
Hmm.
You cut the onion, you peel it. Depending if you need a half or whatever, you cut it like this, not all the way down, like this, and then you turn it on its side and cut it this way. So you're not doing so much work. It's still whole, and you're slicing it, and the little pieces come off.
And so you keep the neck on it.
Until you get to the end, and then you can dice that if you need to, right? So, but you cut
Oh,
almost all the way to the bottom, like this, then like this, and you turn it on its side.
cooking tips on
Yeah,
Wednesday Wisdom.
you turn it on its side, and then you cut it real thinly this way, but it's diced then,
Wow.
and so you're not
That is so
exposing it.
cool.
Hmm.
That is so cool. Okay, I got a book, friend.
I know you do. We'll see you next week. I'll be in Maine.
Oh my goodness, so wonderful.
So, all
So
right.
wonderful. Okay, love you to the moon and back. Mwah.
But just one moment before you go. Big alignment, depending where you are, on the 14th. Before you go to bed at night, you'll be able to see Venus, Jupiter, and if you look at the horizon, you will see Mercury. And then that night going into Monday, and by the way, it's a new moon, so the sky is black, it's just stars. When you
Oh,
if you get up for sunrise, you'll be able to see Saturn and Mars.
oh,
So,
wow. June 14th, big one. Remember that.
yeah. Namaste.
Namaste.